Good evening, everybody. It is now 5 o'clock. Welcome to the Wednesday, June 4th edition of the Finance Committee meeting. We do have, for our roll call, we have enough members present this evening to do business, only missing members Farley and member Roseman Mendoza. So seeing that we have enough members present, let's go ahead and continue on to our consent agenda. Item number 2. Consent agenda consists of our approval of the minutes from May 7th, 2025, regular meeting, as well as the recommended approval of the bills and transfers to the county board that were totaling $1,059,581.72. Might I have a motion to put this one on the floor? We've got a motion by member Loeffler, and I see a second by member Kloss. Comments or questions? Seeing none, carrying forward, let's put it to a vote with our consent agenda, including the approval of the minutes and the approval of the bills. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion passes. Moving right along to item number 3, appearance by members of the public and county employees. Administrator Taylor, it looks like we have a few folks who have signed up to speak this evening.
We do. Our first public speaker is Rhonda Bear. Rhonda, you can come on up to the podium, and it should be on for you, but if not, there's a button on the side.
Good afternoon. My name is Rhonda Bear. I am the village president for the village of Carlock, and I wanted to address the executive committee tonight in regards to the animal control. I noticed on the agenda that there's a consideration for hiring a new employee to help with the added needs that will come with the new building. And I would like the county board or the executive committee, the director of animal control, to maybe reassess what the needs are for the full county. We really don't have much in the way of services out in the rural district or in the small towns. If somebody calls for a stray dog or a dangerous animal, we're told that there's not enough staff or transportation to come out and take care of that for us. So we're left to bring that animal in on our own. If we do it as a village employee, there's a charge. If we do it as a regular resident, there's not. I'm not sure why that is. But it seems like I know Bloomington Normal gets services, and I know that they pay more, maybe probably have a contract. Maybe some other towns like Hayworth or Leroy do as well. I'm not sure what those, what the availability is for that, but I know other mayors have asked, and they have been told that they are understaffed and they could not serve that contract if they did. The Village of Carlock has not signed an intergovernmental agreement for several years because we feel like we're not getting any services anyway. I would like the McLean County Board to consider or reassess or find out what those needs are, and then have something consistent. That if the villages need to sign a contract or the townships need to sign a contract for those types of services, that there's a contract available with fair pricing. I don't know if that's based on population or the number of households in a village or whatever, but I feel like there's nothing out there for us. And we've had 2 incidents in the last 2 weeks with dangerous dog attacks. The police come out and take a report. They hand it off to animal control. Animal control says it's our responsibility. I don't have anybody hired as a dog catcher. If I have to find somebody to do that, I guess that's what we'll do. But then I don't want that dog catcher to be charged by dropping off a dog at the animal control because he's associated with the village. The taxpayers in general, the rural taxpayers, the people who live out in the small villages, all they know is that they pay taxes to McLean County, and that goes towards part of McLean County animal control. So they feel like they should receive services. I don't think they understand that there's probably other contracts available out there. If they are, I'm not even aware if they are. So I think it's in light of the new facility, We've been told for so many years that there's no funding for extra staff or transportation, but you're building a new building for a price tag of $7 million. I know part of it's funded by grant money. It just kind of is hard for those of us out in the outer areas of the county to justify why we're paying for that or helping to pay for that if we can't even get somebody to come out and take care of a dangerous dog or pick up a stray for us. So I'd like you to please consider that. If you have any questions, I'm always open. I always have ideas, but I don't know if they're feasible, so I'm always open for discussion, but I guess that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Next up is Kathleen Weber from Cooksville.
Like Rhonda, I am the president of the Village of Cooksville, and I too have concerns about animal control. And I want you to know I've been the president of the Village of Cooksville since 2017, and I've made one phone call to animal control. This is not a service that I believe we're going to overextend, but I do believe we should be given consideration. If there is a dangerous animal in my community, I need somebody to help that. I don't have a police force, and I don't have an animal control person. The other thing I'd like to say is that Bellflower also sits, and we know that we're very out rural, and Alan couldn't be here tonight. He has had some issues as well. What we really want to know is that we have a place to call and that somebody will respond, and we're not going to overuse it. We're not going to extend it to the point that it's ridiculous. I think Rhonda can guarantee that, as well as all the other mayors that don't have an animal control. And I don't want to take any more of your time, but thank you for considering.
Thank you very much to our speakers. Administrator Taylor, do we have anyone else this evening?
Nope, that was the last request.
All right, excellent. We will then carry right on to item number 4 on our agenda. That takes us to department matters. 4A is where we welcome Mr. Joysak, our supervisor of assessments, who has no items to be presented for action this evening, but I'll go ahead and turn it over to you with 4A2A with your report and any other information you'd like to share.
Well, thank you very much, Chair Lehman. I appreciate the time for you to allow us to come in and talk. You will see the report that we put out there. We do have a couple updates in the report. We are now at, as of today, we only have 6 townships left outstanding before the June 16th statutory deadline for the submission of books. We think that is some really good progress. We are working with those township assessors that are still outstanding to help them finalize and get the rest of those books in. A couple of those situations, we have one situation where we have a newly hired individual who's in there and is working to get in. She's really only started the work in the last, because she was only brought in and finalized in the last couple weeks. So we are making some concessions, allowing some flexibility there. We do work with our township assessors to make sure they have the resources they need and the support they need. But we're making really good strides in making sure we have all our books in by the statutory date, and I think we're going to be I know we're going to be well on the way to having on-time tax billing once again. I also wanted to take a moment to, if I could, if you'll indulge me, to highlight some of the good work that our staff is doing. I know you all understand, all of us sitting here, we have great teams that work with us to serve the public and do the work that we do. My office in particular, you guys know we sit at the front of the building, so we end up dealing with a lot of foot traffic that walks in, and we're directing them around to different places. And so my staff does an absolutely fantastic job. One individual I wanted to particularly highlight was Sean Harner in my office. She's my staff assessor. A couple things in the last several weeks that have really popped out, and I wanted to make sure she got credit where credit is due for the work that she's done. She worked with, and again, I'm going to share the credit over here with Dan Leary from IT. The state has mandated that the state and federal law have mandated that a lot of our forms and websites be accessible for disability enhancements, to make sure that everybody can access the sites. Dan put the program together at the county to let the staff throughout the county know that these requirements were out there. Well, Sean in our office really took the ball with that and got all of our forms in and ready to go, and identified a couple places where even some state forms that we use are not compliant with those mandates. And we let the state know, and the state sent around and has started updating all of their forms to make sure they're compliant with ADA requirements for form accessibility. So it's just an example of where McLean County is kind of in the forefront. And I wanted to say thank you to Dan, thank you to the folks at IT for bringing that to all of our attention, because it's a wonderful thing to be able to make sure that everybody in our community is able to access the services of our government. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. I wanted to say thank you very much and acknowledge the good work that our staff does. And I'm here to answer any questions that y'all might have.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jorsek. And you are always welcome to bring those celebrations to light. Thank you so much, and thank you to the hard work of Dan as well as Sean Harner in your office. Love hearing a little bit more about what we're doing to make sure absolutely everyone has access to the important files and information that we need to make the county run. What comments or questions? Member Fagan.
Just out of curiosity, what makes a form accessible or inaccessible?
Well, that is a very good question. Maybe Dan would be the individual who could help answer it. But in very broad terms, when we talk about putting forms and making our websites in general accessible, what that means is a lot of it is putting information on the form that can be readily translated by like online voice, text to voice type things. So if you have a form that is accessible, it means that assistive software can read out what that form says. You know, when we take images and graphics and put them in a way that, you know, we take it for granted as, say, sighted individuals that, you know, we see a graphic on a form, we know what that means. Well, if you're visually impaired, you might not be able to see that. So part of accessibility is turning those forms and those graphics into things that, say, visually impaired folks can access. And it goes way beyond that. There's a lot of other nuance involved in it, but that's one example of what it does. And another thing as part of that, when she was redesigning her forms, another thing she did was by law, we're required to turn, when the tax bills go out, we're required to include a mailing that lists all of the exemptions and deductions that an individual may be able to qualify for on their property. In prior years, our form was a very dense, very cumbersome looking document. All the information was packed in and you kind of really had to dig down there to see. Well, she redesigned that form to make it much more visually interesting, to make that information stand out more so that you could see, hey, am I eligible for a senior freeze? Am I eligible for a senior homestead? Am I eligible for a regular homestead? And the number of phone calls that we've gotten in our office with this tax billing, with folks just asking questions and wanting to make sure they're getting their exemptions and deductions. It's a good problem for us to have, I'll put it that way. We love being able to make sure that people know that they're getting everything they're entitled to. So again, thank you for indulging me that little aside there.
Fantastic. Additional comments or questions from the committee? All right, seeing none. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, Mr. Jorsek. Moving on to 4B1, where we welcome our County Treasurer, Becky McNeil, and we have 4B1A, and that is the action item to accept and place on file the Treasurer's monthly financial reports. I believe those are a forthcoming or yet to be distributed item, so we'll be holding on that action item for this evening. And bypass, especially since we know that the Treasurer's Office is quite busy at this juncture, since today is the day that we have our first installment of tax due. So for B2A would be chatting with Becky McNeil about any other items to be presented for action this evening.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for understanding with the first installment due date and other things that are going on in the office. It's just quite impossible to focus on those monthly reports right now, but I will get those to Julie so she can circulate those in the board packet next week. I do want to go over some things that are going on right now in regards to Ridgeview and Olympia School District. I'm going to let Mr. Rude answer your specific questions in regards to what happened with the extension process. But I do want to tell you where we are right now. Illinois compiled statute gives the county two options or gave the county two options because we've already moved forward. The county could either send a certified letter and add the arrearage to the tax bill for 2025, payable 2026, or the county could recalculate the extension process and regenerate the tax bill for 2024, payable 2025. The county evaluated all of the steps and processes and made a determination that the correct thing to do at this time was to recalculate extension for 2024, payable 2025, and generate a corrected tax bill. Extensive planning and programming went into making this happen this year. My main priority was to protect the validity of where we were with the current $462 million that was billed. So it took a great deal of time, and when I say a great deal of time, I mean probably about 3 to 4 days of extensive conversation with our tax software provider and sorting out all of the different areas in which our programming would have to be updated. And it's not as simple as it sounds, oh, let's just generate a corrected tax bill. That is not the case at all. All of our processing had to be reprogrammed. We are programmed to process taxes based off of 2 equal installments. The correction placed the additional tax on the second installment. So extensive reprogramming had to be done. The county could not do this on its own. We had to schedule this with DevNet, and their first availability was this past weekend. So in case anyone wants to know why it wasn't done earlier, we simply could not do it. We could not do it without the assistance of our property tax software company, DevNet. We also could not do it without freezing collection. Everything that my office does and Tim's office does and Kathy's office does had to be completely frozen in time. And when we are collecting first installment, it is literally impossible to take receipting down for even 24 hours. It had to be done on a weekend. So all of that scheduling had to take place. Again, it was done this past weekend. With the first installment due date being today, that also presented another challenge in that we have thousands of payments currently coming in right now. So not only are we are pushing to max in processing the property tax payments for all taxpayers of McLean County, but we also did not have the ability to generate a corrected tax bill in the last 48 hours, nor did we really want to, because we want to make sure that corrected tax bill takes into effect all of the thousands of payments that are coming in right now. So our plan is to actually generate and send that corrected taxpayer the corrected tax bill out to the taxpayers the week of June 9th. The additional tax is going to be collected on the second installment. Again, the updated tax bill is expected to be mailed next week. And the taxpayers who are not part of Ridgeview or Olympia are not affected by this rebilling. Earlier, I was asked how much this is costing the county. The printing, mailing, and programming for the 6,975 parcels is $46,127. The 6,975 parcels are going to be collecting an additional tax of about $3.4 million for Ridgeview and Olympia combined. So, any questions?
I'll just hit it. I'll just
Absolutely.
hit it down.
Yeah, Member Loeffler.
Very good. I've had a lot of calls on that. It is on. There you go. Sorry. I've had several calls on it because you can find it online that it's already updated, you know, the payment, which is great. But, you know, I just wanted to make sure that it was not only a county issue, that in Olympia's case, they had the chance to review it and missed it as well. You guys have done your corrective action, that's all there, but it was put out there, from what I've been told, that it was just the county office's fault, and I don't believe that is the case, and that's what you addressed there. That
Well, Illinois compiled statute outlines how the corrective action is to be taken. I will let Mr. Rude go into detail on what happened, and it may be that, you know, it does not necessarily matter who did what or who did not do what. Fact is, Illinois compiled statute addresses how the administrative error is to be corrected, and the county has taken the measures to do that.
And I think y'all have jumped on it and done a great job, so thank you for that. Just getting it behind us would be the best thing.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam. You've been treasurer for quite a few years. Has this ever happened to the extent, or give us a little history? The taxpayers are new to this, but anyway, if you would elaborate on
Yeah.
when the last time.
So this is the first time in my 26 years of being here that the county has taken these steps to recalculate extension in the current tax year in the midst of first installment. And, you know, we actually do generate corrected tax bills each year when, for example, Mr. Jorzak's office will add an exemption or remove an exemption from a parcel. That's common practice. So the county does generate corrected tax bills due to exemptions. This was a significantly different situation. So, you know, I think that with every opportunity, or every challenge comes an opportunity to see what you can do. We've learned a lot in the process. We're still learning. Even today, they're making updates tonight to the program that we're on right now, so that it will fix little issues that we're having right now. So, you know, this is a first, and I'm not going to jinx myself, but I don't want to go through this again. But no, this is a first, and I think it's going well. And obviously, we're very grateful for everyone's patience, and we'll get through this process. We are going to give the taxpayers that are affected by this error an additional 30 days to pay without penalty. So the second installment is still due September 4th, but they will have until October 4th to pay without penalty. It's going to be very important that the taxpayers pay attention to the information that goes out with this corrected tax bill, because even though Illinois state statute allows the collector to correct this year, Illinois state statute does not then postpone tax sale. We still have a tax sale that will happen in the fall that we are required to do by Illinois state statute. And we'll be sending notices to, just like any of our other notices that go out on delinquent taxes. We'll just have to be very careful with these parcels. We've got an eye on them, and we'll continue to make modifications as we see fit to work through this.
Thank you. Thank you for the explanation. And I just want to say to the citizens of Ridgeview and Olympia, mistakes happen. To err is human. we all have these great computers, and sometimes we don't check the box right or wrong. We send when we should delete, not that I'm saying we should delete anything, but, one little button click. Something does not get checked, and in the case of this, a box didn't get checked for whatever reason, and there were errors. But we on Finance Committee, we take accountability for that, and we apologize for that. So reach out to anybody in our district, and we'll do the best to answer those concerns. Thank you for figuring that out and getting that taken care of. I have nothing.
Any additional, Member Fagan?
Since the corrected bills are going out post first payment due date, will they be able to reflect any payments received?
That's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
I'm sure that there are going to be, because we're trying to get this corrected bill out as quickly as possible, I'm sure that there's still going to be payments flowing through. There's going to be a cross in mail. We will have an insert with that corrected tax bill that will guide taxpayers through trying to interpret where they're at in the process. And of course, giving them our phone number, giving them our website so they can contact us. And, we've got a lot of communication to do also with our escrow companies. That was part of this evaluation to make sure that, when we say we could do it, we can do it. And yes, there are going to be minor issues along the way that we are going to have to work out. But in the end, it's the right thing to do.
I do want to echo and just say a big thank you to you and your staff. I know moments like this when there are mistakes made, it's hard, right? It's hard to find the best way forward. And I appreciate you and your staff's integrity for going forward and owning the issue and trying to find a solution for the immediate term as well as for the long term. Truly, thank you for that. I think it's a great representation of what this county stands for, even in moments when there's a whoopsie. Also, for those impacted, I understand your frustration. Anybody who's experiencing this, I get it. And I truly apologize for anything that we can have maybe done a little bit differently to fix this for the current term. But it certainly sounds like everybody has come together in a great way to try to fix it. So thank you to staff and thank you to everybody who's been involved working through weekends to make sure that this is amended. And thank you very much for coming tonight and being present to share, even in the midst of a busy time with a lot of things going on.
Thank you for your
Truly
patience.
appreciate your presence this evening, Ms. McNeil. Let's go ahead and carry forward then with our agenda to item number 4C, where we invite our Director of Animal Control, Ms. Marshall Thompson. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Item number 4C1A. Item for action is the request approval of a resolution amending the funded full-time equivalent positions, Resolution Fund 0001, Department 0032, Animal Control. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor for discussion? I have a motion by Member Fagan, a second. Second by Member Klaus. Ms. Thompson, over to you for any information that you'd like to share.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all your time here, and I just want to say I think this position is really important and will help with a lot of supporting of the day-to-day operations and improving staff coverage on some of the call and demands that we're seeing and peak types of calls, and that it will help staff, be able to get their benefited time and get time off, especially holiday coverage. When you're real thin and something happens and somebody calls in sick or they can't be there for something, it makes it hard for a 24/7 program. We always have to have someone to respond and call. So this does ease the burden on management so that they don't have to be the emergency backup, and we can keep working on those important things that we're moving to help streamline digitizing paperwork and evaluating the services that need to be reviewed within our community, and also preparing for all the new things at the new facility. So I appreciate your consideration, and I do think this is a benefit to our program.
Thank you very much, Ms. Thompson. Comments or questions from the committee? Member Klaus.
Yeah, so I know we had an email exchange, and you gave me a lot of great information. That was helpful, so thank you. In light of the two outlying areas that spoke tonight, is this position in any way going to help those concerns? I know you were kind of talking about like the after hours and that, but in terms
So-
of that issue, can you elaborate on that at all?
Yeah, yes. So in essence, we have the bigger intergovernmental agreements, and we have, one warden allocated to respond to those services. And if they're not doing a field call, then they're cleaning at the shelter, maintaining the animals, helping do the critical needs of the program. So we don't have someone who's available that can leave that jurisdiction because they already have responsibilities allocated. But by having that extra person available, you can send that person on that call while those other items that are intergovernmentally contractually obligated can still be met. So it does help if there's an emergency situation where we can do those types of things. But I think it's really important, and I know administration and I've worked on different types of intergovernmental agreements. We have to have those in place in order to have the authority and jurisdiction to respond to those types of complaints. So that gives us the authority to remove those animals or statutorily hold them, and then final disposition, rehoming, processing, do a reclaim. So there's a little bit of details that would have to be worked out. And I do hear what they're saying and want to offer assurance that I would like to talk to them and find out what their needs are so that I could present that back to administration, because we're getting ready to go through a review with the budget and what our needs assessment are. And so these things are at the forefront right now, and we're going to be talking about them pretty quickly.
Okay, thanks for that. And it's a tough issue because like I was coming in here, I'm like, I'm not overly convinced that we need it. Then I hear we've got other issues. And so I think holistically, we probably just need more looking at this, because I'm kind of at it, what's nice to have and a need to have, and we need services, but where's the right line? Because I think all of us are hearing our taxes keep going up, so where can we try to tighten our belt a little bit? So I'm just trying to understand that, so thanks.
Additional comments or questions from the committee? And just as a point of clarity, so this position wasn't one of them that was put through our budgetary process last year, so it's not budget neutral. Are we comfortable and or confident that we'll be able to go ahead, should we put this position in play, and hire an individual, that we will be able to cover that salary this year? Yeah, I guess I would pose to administration, perhaps.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. And so it sounds like this is a great way, knowing that we have the new facility, knowing that there are services that are needed, perhaps a really great way to evaluate and meet some of that need that exists with the facility in living into the animal control program for the future that we all know and want. Additional comments or questions? All right, let's go ahead and vote on item 4C, 1A, the request approval of a resolution amending the funded full-time equivalent position, resolution for Fund 0001, Department 0032, Animal Control. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
And the motion carries with 3 ayes, 1 nay. And moving right along to 4C2, the item to be presented for information, we have Ms. Thompson with your monthly report.
I have the report here that we present for your information. Do you guys have any questions or anything that I could answer regarding the great work our staff is doing to help the community and the animals that are housed at our current facility and pretty quickly in the new facility?
Questions from the committee? It's exciting to see that we're still on track for an open date later on this summer. So excited to continue to see the progress that you and your team make, not only with the facility, but with your processes and getting everything ready to go, as well as taking care of the animals in the current facility. It seems like you all are doing double duty, so thank you so much for all of those things that you're doing to make it a very smooth transition.
I just like to give a thank you to administration and Tony for all the work that they've been helping assist us with. So we couldn't do it without them, so we really do appreciate it. And my staff echoes that as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much, administration, and thank you very much for being here this evening, Ms. Thompson. We will go ahead and continue on our agenda with item 4D. To the county auditor section. We don't have any items to be presented for action this evening. We do have item to be presented for information, but I believe our auditor was unable to join us this evening. So in light of it, I guess I would ask administration, were there any notes to be shared directly about the quarterly report that we have here in our packet?
No notes. She did provide a 4-page quarterly report. I believe it's numbers, it's statistics, it's not, but there's no narrative that was provided to supplement.
Okay, thank you very much. And considering with the county auditor's items for information, so I know we're in the midst of our outside audit. It's come to my attention that we might be, the county audit is ongoing and might be a little bit off schedule at this juncture. I was just wondering if administration might be able to hop in and share a little bit of a progress report, share the situation as to where we are going, and how our progress is looking.
So we are a little bit behind with our outside audit that's being conducted by CLA, our contracted outside auditor. I have been in email communications with our auditor on some of the items that they are waiting for from the auditor, and she has provided a progress report and asked for assistance from administration to work with that. So I do want to thank publicly Kathy Dreyer for her jumping in at the last minute to assist with many of these tasks. She's provided several items of information to the auditor in the last few days to try to speed up that process and keep us on schedule. Right now, we are scheduled to present in July. We hope that does not get delayed till August, but August would be the final month that we could present without some other consequences. And so I'll leave it at that for now with the hope that we are back on track soon.
Thank you very much. And you had mentioned that the hope is for July to be the date that everything comes in and that's behind schedule. What is typically the month that would be the on-schedule month or the on-target?
So in the past, I know June was the month that we presented, and that is our preference.
Okay.
But we do have some leeway to present in July. But if we move past August, like I said, there are some consequences, including not being able to distribute the second installment of the tax distribution. So they're pretty hefty consequences if we are late.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the additional information and context. And Ms. Dreyer, thank you so much. It looks like we've got folks in this county who are going above and beyond each and every single day, and thank you for being one of them with this issue. All right. Any comments or questions from the committee regarding anything under item D? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and carry forward to item 4E with the county clerk. So we don't have any items to be presented for action this evening. The clerk's office was unable to join us this evening due to other commitments, but we do have E2A. We have the monthly reports for the recording department, pages 19 to 25. And then I would ask administration, are there any other notes that were shared on behalf of the clerk's office that we should be aware of?
There were no extra notes shared.
Comments or questions from the committee on anything for the clerk's office? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to 4F, with our county administrator. Ms. Cassie Taylor, thank you very much. We don't have anything for action on your behalf this evening. Oh, we do? I have the wrong packet in front of me then.
I do have one item for action. It is a request for approval of administration salary adjustment for the state's attorney per code 108. And the state's attorney is here, should you have any questions.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. I pulled up the wrong one. Oh, no, you're good. Thank you. That's completely my mistake. All right, so we have that request approval of administration salary adjustments to the state's attorney office. Might I have a motion? We have a motion by Vice Chair Friedrich, and apologies on the delay there, and a second by Member Leffler. And then for comments or questions, we would need to go into closed session. Will there be a need for closed session for comments or questions on this matter this evening? All right, seeing none, we will go ahead and put for F1A, the request approval of the administration salary adjustments in the state's attorney's office to a vote. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries.
And that is all I have for the
All right.
committee this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That will teach me to not pull up the correct version of the packet as saved. All right, carrying right along. Item number 5 is other business and communication. For everyone's information, item A, our next meeting is going to be July 9th at 5 p.m. Just wanted to see if there are any other items for communication this evening from the committee. No, seeing none. Thank you to everybody who is here this evening and going above and beyond, working through some challenging circumstances. Thank you all for your commitment and your service to the county. This meeting is adjourned.